Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another Pallavi Market Research video. I'm little teeny over here because we have a more educational video today with a lot of content. So let's just get to it. I like how little I am. I hope you guys find it funny too. But this isn't funny at all. What we're going to be talking about today is dead serious. And this is what is it? Understanding the difference and the properties of both gold and silver, because both of these assets are becoming more and more important, probably for the rest of our lifetimes, given the state of hyperinflation in America and abroad. So, the history of gold and silver is amazing. So, we're not going to go so much into the history, but we're going to go more into their market dynamics. We're doing more of a raw market research video here, talking about where their demands come from, who's buying it, why, and most importantly, their price ratios. Now, the gold market demand, the total demand for gold on an annual basis, is somewhere between 250 billion to 300 billion dollars. That's a lot. About half of that's going into jewelry. Another third, a little bit more than that, is going into investments. That's 90 billion to 120 billion dollars per year. Central banks still actually buy somewhere between 300 to 500 tons annually. And we obviously have our industrial uses that include electronics, dentistry, aerospace, and otherwise. All right. Now, silver is a little bit more interesting. Silver is about 25 billion in annual spending. Okay. 12 and a half to 13. So like 50, a little over 50% of that is going into industrial uses. So not jewelry, not investments, interestingly enough. They're being used in solar panels, electric cars, medical devices, a lot of very essential things that I would argue are going to increase in demand over the next few decades. Jewelry is a smaller segment, a lot less money is spent on silver jewelry than gold. And as an investment, as a percentage, it's a lot less. Now, the estimated known reserves of silver and gold actually surprised me. Silver, there's about 18 billion ounces, while gold has 1.74 billion ounces. So there's a lot more silver than gold. In fact, there's about 10 times more silver on the planet than gold. And there's approximately 10 times more money spent on gold than silver every year. However, the majority of those, like we already covered, is in jewelry and investments, while the other half for silver is spent on industrial uses. So, this is where it gets a little more important, guys. The annual growth rate for silver's aggregate supply is somewhere between 1 to 3%, meaning we discover about 1% more silver over the course of a year than we do on average with gold, because gold has this inherent inflation rate. And people like Peter Schiff get confused. They're like, well, why do all these Federal Reserve? Why does the Federal Reserve take on and is okay with a 2% inflation rate? That they actually aim for that. They don't aim to have less than a 2% inflation rate. They aim for a 2% inflation rate. And this is actually where it comes from. It comes from how gold's aggregate supply increases on an annual basis. But what's really interesting is that for silver to be only 1, maybe 2% on any given year more than silver, if silver goes up 1 to 2% more than gold in terms of aggregate supply, right? Over the course of 10 years, that's actually a lot, because the nature of compounding is important. So over a decade, it's 10% more, right? Okay, and this is where it gets this is what I want you guys to be studying, is actually these price ratios, because this is where the opportunities lie. Because this has been studied for a long, long time as well. So the ratio between silver and gold has fluctuated, like I said, but it's ranged from as low as 10 to 1, which is the aggregate supply, right, to as large as 100 to 1 in recent years. So in the early 20th century, the ratio is between 15 to 1 and 20 to 1. During the Great Depression, the ratio widened and it reached a peak of around 100 to 1 in the early 1990s. So gold over silver for the bulk of the 20th century was the norm. And keep in mind, for the bulk of the 20th century in America, we had a gold standard. Okay. So in 2011, during a surge in silver prices, the ratio dropped to around 31 to 1, which I believe is the lowest it's been for, I think, like maybe the last 200, 300 years. So, but generally speaking, in the 21st century, it's fluctuated between 60 to 1 and 90 to 1. And I guess what my question to you guys is silver positioned to contract in the coming years? Are we going to be approaching a 30 to 1? Are we going to be approaching a 20 to 1, maybe even a 10 to 1 if investment in silver demands go up? So, understanding and studying this relationship, like how some of you guys like to follow guys who trade indexes and all these things, trading these price ratios has actually been something that I've become increasingly interested in. And actually, I'm going to show you guys something real quick on another window here. One second. So you see here, this is my Pala AI bot. So this is our AI, Pala AI, if you're not familiar already. And over the past few weeks, I've been asking it to provide me updates on silver prices, silver companies, right? And it's been doing an amazing job providing this, and especially giving me like the latest articles every single day. So if you haven't tried this yet, I would encourage you guys to set it up. I actually was just talking to one of our community members, and he is using the AI, but he actually hasn't figured out how to set this up. So I'm going to be doing a more in-depth video on that soon. All right, guys, if you have any questions, I want to hear them. And thank you for listening to my teeny tiny screen video. Okay, guys?